Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Elite City Podcast. We are back after American Thanksgiving, so thank you for understanding, Rick. And how was Canadian American Thanksgiving?
I went out and bought a pie because you guys made me jealous.
I know, it was awesome.
Your food, so yeah, it was fun. How was yours?
Good. A lot of friends, a lot of family. It was at my sister's, and her house is set up very, very nice for parties. Like she has like a finished basement and a very open living room, dining room area, so you can just kind of filter in between.
Nice.
And yeah, so it was nice. Like it was. Well, I'm at the point now where I'm almost like forbidden from the downstairs area with like the kids because I'm getting old. But like I hold enough like clout in the family where I can float. So like I'm not limited to the upstairs with the old people playing cards.
Nice.
The niece and nephew still let me down with the youngins. But yeah, it was fun. And it was crazy at the Thanksgiving party. Like my sister and mom and aunt and everybody started planning Christmas. And I'm like, I'm Joe Christmas. I love Christmas, but it's like, we haven't eaten Thanksgiving dinner yet. Like, at least wait till dinner's over. Anyways, now that the holidays are over, well, not holidays, but now Thanksgiving's over, we're moving full gear into, excuse the pun, into the Christmas season. And we're doing our end of the year awards a little bit early. But we're going to do our end of the year awards and just have some fun today. So we're using the same list as we did last year. And I probably shouldn't say this out loud, but you all can make fun of me. I like revised the list like 4 times because I wasn't satisfied. I kept having to go back like, no, this was better. So this is my final list. I like spent more time on this than I did like doing homework in college and high school.
Nice.
Yeah. It's like, I took this way more seriously. My men's wrestler of the year is Konosuke Takeshita. Excuse me.
Oh, good call. That's a good one.
Yeah. I mean, I figure he won the G1, and I mean, he's now the IWGP heavyweight champion, but the story within that, I mean, we're going to get Takeshita Okada, and I have a question for you on this. Does Okada pass the torch, or do they have like a really long, old-fashioned Japanese like year and a half feud?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be really long. I think
Same here.
I think it won't just be like Okada loses and they move on. I think it's gonna be a long thing.
Same
It'll be
here.
fun.
So it definitely will be fun. Like
my absolute favorite was this week on Dynamite when they're talking about how the Bucks still try to steal the money back or whatever, and Okada just walks in and goes, "Just so you know, this was Takeshita's fault." And I'm like, how is this possibly Takeshita's fault?
I love the way that they're going with it. How like no matter what Takeshita does, it makes Okada mad.
Yes,
it's so good. Okay, so sorry, off topic already, and we're halfway into number 1. So who was yours before?
I went pretty obvious. Hangman Page. I think he was he had a storyline that was that was great. The post, well, I'll talk about this more later probably, but post winning the title was okay. It was fine. Yeah. But the run up to him winning the title was just great. Like not just a great storyline, great matches, great character work, great. I thought he did a great job this year.
Yeah, definitely. And with Hangman, I agree with you. Like the run was, even though it was short, it was solid. But almost after you said it, I thought this is what you were going to say. The run was almost better. The lead up was almost better than the run.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, the lead up to it was great.
Yeah.
Do you have any honorable mentions?
Well, obviously Hangman would have been an honorable mention. Just off the top of my head, obviously Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah.
I would honestly say too, Big Bill, Brian Keith.
Nice.
Are up there. And a funny one, I would say, because he stayed relevant through this entire time, Max Caster.
Nice. Yeah.
Max,
I'd say even though he wasn't there all year, Ospreay, I'd have to consider as well, even though he got hurt halfway through the year. Like he had great matches. And
that says a lot that you could only wrestle for half the year and be mentioned at the end of the year. Like, oh yeah, he's right in there.
And I mean, like you kind of have to talk about Mox because like he had an uneven year in terms of like people caring and people focusing on that storyline. How it did go a bit too long. I feel like it was dragged out a bit. but it ultimately achieved its goal. Its goal was to like make new stars and put people over, and it has.
Totally. And I wonder if, like, obviously Tony Khan's a big nerd, and this will probably come out eventually. I wonder if he set some sort of record on how many title defenses he had. Because I mean, there were a lot on like Dynamite stuff where you knew he wasn't going to lose,
right?
But like he defended on pay-per-view literally for a year and a half.
Yeah, I feel Mox has to have like the most matches, doesn't he? I mean, it might be him or Orange Cassidy.
Good call. Good call.
But Orange Cassidy was hurt for a while this year, so probably Mox.
Oh yeah, probably Mox. But yeah, like Mox, he definitely has to be put in there. And the storyline wasn't his fault. He did his job in the storyline, but like the storyline going too long, I complained about that. Like, well, we talked about it. I don't know. It came full circle, and we'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
we don't need to get to
the main story beats were good. Him losing to Hangman was good, and then what's happening now with like him losing grip over the Death Riders is good.
Mm-hmm.
So that accomplished something.
Absolutely. Now we're gonna make you go twice in a row. You're women's wrestler of the year.
This was a tough one between two pretty obvious choices.
Okay.
I went with Toni Storm though. I think it kind of has to be Toni Storm.
I also went with Toni Storm. And was your other one Stat?
No, I have three other ones. My other ones are Mercedes, Willow, or Stat. They all were great. In terms of like in-ring stuff, they were all excellent. They all did great jobs.
Yeah.
But I think it kind of has to be Toni for the top.
I agree. And I'll get into this a little bit later, but going back to what we just said about Hangman, excuse me, her lead up with how she put over Statlander in hindsight, like you didn't know that's what all those promos were leaning towards. Right. Like, you know, like I'm unstoppable, blah, 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 that stuff. Like she did exactly what Mox did. I don't want to say she made Chris Statlander because Stat did the work too, but she really put Stat like above her, even in promos. And that's a real,
and like, she achieved what's really hard to do as a champion. The run up to being a champion is always usually the best part, like with Hangman.
Yeah.
But then her run up to becoming champion was great. Her run as champion was very good. Absolutely. And then post losing the title, she's come up with new things to do. Like now her team with Mina and her character's changed a little bit, and she's kept herself relevant and important even without the belt now.
Totally. And she is the prime example of, if you come to AEW, maybe at the beginning, they might not let you have full reign of your character, but get on TV, do your job. And I don't want to say like the old keep your mouth shut and don't ask questions. Like, don't do that. But like, do your job, earn a little bit of clout, and then say, hey, I have these ideas. What can we do? I mean, pretty sure Tony is now at the point where like people are like, don't even tell me what you're going to do. Just do it because it's going to be awesome.
Yeah. And I can get how for a lot of wrestlers, that's probably intimidating because
totally.
Especially, well, there's two types of wrestlers who would be new to AEW, right? Someone who's been in WWE for a long time and hadn't had that kind of freedom usually, or someone who's been like an indie wrestler in Japan or not on North American TV, who has never had to come up with a TV character really before. Right. So I get that that's intimidating because, especially if you're in WWE, because you've had a whole career of being told what to do. And then suddenly they're just like, oh, do whatever you want. You're like, yeah, but I've never done that. Like I can see how that's difficult. But for some people, like I'm thinking Tony, I'm thinking Swerve, I'm thinking like Ricochet. Yeah. It really works out.
And again, I'm not bashing WWE for having their own style and brand, but those people didn't flourish in WWE. Like, I mean, as you said, Swerve was like the leader of his group, but I mean, Swerve wasn't world champion. Ricochet wasn't. I mean, Ricochet was main roster, was he?
Yeah, but he was like in the speed thing that where they had like the 5-minute matches. He was like low down.
There you go. Like, he was, very low on the card. So it does work both ways. And I don't know. It's very interesting.
I'm sure for some people who are just like a good wrestler, but not necessarily good at coming up with storylines, like, I'm sure it works for them because, like, you can wrestle and you don't have to worry about what you're going to say in your promo because they tell you. But for people who have that sort of creativity, like Tony Storm, this never would have happened without them just being able just to like tell her, yeah, do whatever you want.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's my honorable mentions were also Mercedes and oh, I lost it. Oh, and Athena, sorry.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Just because I mean, I never thought that I knew we would see some rollover with like Ring of Honor stuff, but we always say there's a million championships. I never thought we would see Ring of Honor almost, I shouldn't say weekly, but it's a few times a month that Athena is on national television with the Ring of Honor title.
Yeah.
And not that matters. Tony still owns the company, but that's a cool little quip that, give her credit to make that happen.
Yeah. I really would love to see both her and Mercedes do more storylines in AEW because they've had their titles for so long and they're kind of tied to their titles, right? Mercedes is the TBS champion and Athena is the ROH champion. And that's great. It works, but I want to see what happens when they have to do something else. Like Tony Storm has flourished not being the champion, but I want to see what either of them can do.
I agree. Now the Ring of Honor pay-per-view is in 6 hours. So tonight I will let you know if I think Persephone is going to beat her tonight. Honestly,
I do think that she has to lose at some point. I know we talked about this a long time ago with Jade. Like the longer it goes, the harder it is to have someone break it. Cause now you're like, oh, now this person has to break like a 2-year reign.
Right.
Like how it has to be great. Otherwise it's going to be a, demoralizing win or it's not going to look as good. So the longer it goes, the harder it is. Like now you're beating the longest reigning ROH champion ever. Right. So it's hard. But I do kind of think she has to lose and do something else. Not that she's doing a bad job, but just it'd be nicer to see her do something else.
Well, I personally think they're gonna use like a little WWE playbook here. They're gonna, I don't want to say strip her of the title. She's gonna drop the title. I don't know. I think tonight, but maybe not tonight. And then go right to like there won't even be a week. She'll be right on like AEW. She'll either be on Collision or Dynamite every week.
Yeah.
Not that it matters to Tony, but I'm sure corporate people get in his ear like, hey, that's your title from your company. We'd rather see, another segment with the TNT title. You know what I mean? Like,
yes.
So I'm sure that'll get some people off his back and it'll get her. Again, I keep saying main roster, but I'm using air quotes. You can't see me because she's there every week anyway, because Ring of Honor tapes before Collision, but you know what I mean? Now just off the top of my head, where would you put her?
Oh, in times of what kind of feud? I don't know because
sorry, I kind of stopped talking. Yes, who would you put her in a feud with?
You can't have her. You can't really have her lose right away because then it kind of negates everything she's done, right? I was thinking, have her go after Statlander. That makes sense, but I don't want Stat. I don't think Stat should lose yet.
Agreed. And
I don't think Athena should show up, lose the RH title, and then immediately lose her next feud. I don't know. Right. Maybe she beats Mercedes. Maybe she
that's
wins the TBS title.
That's what I was just going to say. Like, how cool would that be? Because then that solves all your problems.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, she does come in and jump to the front of the TBS title line, but you're also riding the coattails of it's real easy to sell. Like, oh, she just had the longest reign. She's untouchable, blah, blah, blah. And then that gets Mercedes to the main event.
Right.
Even though she's already there, but
I would also really like to see Athena win the TBS title and then lose it like in a month or two, like not for a very long time, because Mercedes has had it for so long that if Athena wins it and holds it for like another year, then it's been way too long. So I think I would like to see her lose it pretty soon. I think if I was booking it, I would probably have maybe Athena beat Mercedes and then Willow beat Athena or something like that.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Oh man,
Willow should have a belt. Willow's had a great year too.
Yeah, I know. Who do you think they're going to win the tag titles? I do.
I think they do. Like,
Same.
Tony winning it would immediately like legitimize the titles because she's
right.
Multiple time women's world champion. But I think Willow should have something, and it would be she deserves it.
Agreed. And also, before I'm gonna get this off my chest now, if Max wins the goddamn battle royal for that ring again, I'm gonna suplex my house.
As soon as I saw that promo for it, I was just like, oh, you're gonna be mad.
As soon as I saw it's literally I said it out loud by myself in the house sitting on a couch. It's like, I swear to God, if he wins that thing again,
he's gonna be gone for months. And then he's gonna come back and win that and then just like leave for another few months.
Because it works out perfectly. He's a surprise entrant like he is every year. But I mean, this gets him back on TV. He's gonna win the damn thing again.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate it. I hate it so bad. Anyways, so it's my turn. For number one group / tag team of the year, I picked Brodito.
Yeah, that's a good one. I didn't think of them, but yeah, that's a good one. I like that.
Thank you. Yeah, I figured, I mean, Bandito has really had a heck of a run since he came back. I mean, Ring of Honor World Champion. Then he comes up to the main rosters, blows people's minds, like became a fan favorite. And then once Matthews got hurt, they put these two together who were friends in real life, which is crazy to think. And, you know, they just like the fans gravitated towards them. It's awesome.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be like a short-term thing, just for like just for a tag tournament or just to have them do something for a bit. And I don't know, maybe that was the plan. Maybe they planned to just have it be like a short term, but then it got over and people liked it. But yeah, they've done a great job. I like them.
Same, but again, I feel bad for Buddy Matthews. It always seems like every time he starts to pick up momentum, like something happens. Like the first time he picked up momentum, there were the rumors that Malachi was going to quit, and then they were the trios champions. And then oh god, now he's hurt, and Brodito's on top of the world. Anyways, who's your group?
This kind of by default, I said the Don Callis family.
I can't no denying that.
Just because they've done so. I think I actually said this last year on our podcast that like they were starting to win me over on our year-end podcast, but like they've done a great job. Like even though they have 5,000 members, and half of them like legitimately aren't going to do much. Like no offense to like Rocky Romero, but he's not going to win anything.
Exactly.
But it makes sense. I mean, they have the big guys. They have Takeshita, Kyle Fletcher, Okada. And then there's like the mid-level guys like Josh Alexander will win sometimes, but lose sometimes. And then the guys who are always going to lose. I think they've done a great job. Don Callis does a great job every time he's doing commentary or cutting promos. Like he's been fun. I agree. And it has elevated these guys. Like Takeshita the thing is Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher would have gotten over on their own because they're very good. They were already pretty over on their own. But Don Callis just kind of got them from like good upper card guy to like main event guy.
Exactly. Like the thing that I like about Callis is he does what I think you said it was Mick Foley years ago said, like Callis puts over his talent, but he also puts over who they're facing.
Yeah. I like when he's on commentary and he's like, oh, this guy's a great wrestler. This guy's a great talent. Or, oh, we were watching out for that. We knew that was important, that, we had to neutralize this move or whatever. Like they're not all just losers.
Exactly. And his guys aren't all the best. Like it's not the normal heel manager. Like he's like the normal heel manager speaks in like a non-reality, like my guys never lose. Well, they haven't won it. You've lost the whole year, that type of stuff. But him's like, even it, like he like as a heel, like admits the loss. Like, oh, what are you talking about? It was a fast count or something.
Right.
But he still admits it. Right. And that's like, it legitimizes everything. And that's I said, that's a great pick.
And his role with the Takeshita Okada stuff, trying to act like everything's fine when clearly everything's not fine.
Yes, it's incredible. It's so good. What was your men's match of the year?
This was
tough.
Yeah, this was tough. There was a lot of really good ones. I went with from Double or Nothing, the Owen Hart final, Hangman Page against Will Ospreay. I thought that was an excellent match. I loved it. That
was a fantastic match. I actually totally forgot about that match.
They even did the weird lighting thing, which they tried to do at the All Out show that I was at. And the problem is when they tilt the lights down, they shine them like right in your face. Yeah. So that's kind of a pain, but it looked cool how they did that. Like it made it look different. It made it look important. It was a very like New Japan style kind of match. I didn't know who was going to win. I really thought that Ospreay was going to win. And then through the course of the match, I think I said this when it happened. Going into the match, I was like, oh, Ospreay's definitely going to win. But then throughout the course of the match, by the end of the match, I was like, oh, Hangman better win. That makes so much more sense. Like they told such a good story through the wrestling that it made you care about who wins.
Oh, that's the best.
It was a great match. I loved it.
It can't, like I said, I actually forgot that match happened.
I mean, that is a problem at AEW. Like I looked through the best match, like I looked through all the pay-per-view cards, and I was like, oh man, there's like 30 good matches that you could say were match of the year. Like,
I went with, just because we talked about it earlier, the storyline leading up to it. I went with Hangman versus Mox.
Yeah.
Because I mean, other than Swerve Hangman, that is by far the best story they have ever told.
Yeah.
Even saying that it lasted too long.
Right.
Like, I think it would have been, if we're rating it on a scale of 100, it would have been 100 had it been 3 months shorter.
Right.
But being a 98 ain't too bad either.
Just the story that they told, the how they didn't let you see the title for like a year.
Yes.
And then him taking the title out at the end. Like, I watched that show because All In was long.
Yes.
I started it late. So it was like midnight when I was done watching the show. And I came up, like our TV's in the basement. I was watching downstairs. And I came up and everyone's asleep. And I was just like happy. I just came upstairs being like, there was other people around to talk about this with because I was just like happy. Like it was such a good moment. It was really cool.
It was. And it's just, like you said, the payoff was, the ride was better than the long-term payoff, but it was still great.
And how it all came together with like, Swerve finally coming out to help him. And stuff with Danielson and it was great.
Oh,
Darby coming down from all of it was just excellent.
So good. So good. And again, my women's matches, I went with Storm and Statlander. Just again, I loved the story, the passing of the torch, the way that Tony put Stat over. Like, just if you're like bored later, go back and watch a couple of those promos. Like, it's almost like watching the Mariah May promos now.
Yeah.
Like, you see what she meant. Like, the things that when she calls her Kristen, and it's definitely a passing of the torch moment. I loved it.
Tony's promos are underrated in the sense that when you first hear them, they just sound like cool or funny.
Yeah.
But then if you pay attention to what she's actually saying stuff that means something. Like, it's not just jokes or comments. Like, there's meaning behind what she says, but it just comes off as like funny or cool. But yeah, she does a really good job.
Yeah, like that's how good she is.
Yeah.
If you could take it for like what it is on the surface, or you could pick it apart, and she's right both ways.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, I also picked a Tony Storm match. I just picked Tony Storm against Mariah May,
which was
the Hollywood ending match.
Yeah.
I mean, Mariah May's being gone kind of makes it less legendary because I think they'd play it way more often if she was still around.
Totally.
But that was a great match. If she hadn't been leaving the company, it should have been the main event of the show for sure.
Yeah, I agree.
I get why they didn't do it in retrospect, because like if she was leaving a month later, like I get why you don't want to put her in the main event of the show. But that was a great match. That storyline was incredible, and that was the right ending for it. It was very good.
Yeah, I totally agree 100%. That my favorite part of that, because it made me jump up, is whenever like she was being like back in the like WWE Tony Storm, and then she got beat up, and she's like, well, like I forget like who said I was acting or whatever her exact line was.
Yeah,
that was incredible.
That was so great. That was so great.
So good.
We said it before. I get why Mariah May left. Like, I get it. If you want to be, if your whole dream is to be in WWE, that's cool. Like, go ahead. Like, try it. Right. This was her biggest chance to get like the best contract she could possibly get, because she put herself over so well. She did such a good job. Like, it made sense. If you really want to try this, this is your opportunity. Go for it. Like, more power to her. But I wish she stayed, because her being involved with like the Tony and Mina stuff would be so good.
Like, I mean, obviously it's, if that's your dream, it's one thing, but like, she has to be watching this. and like seeing like where she or like knows the storyline or at least parts of it and where she was going to fit in, like, you know what I mean? So I wonder if there's any of that, like, oh man, this is really cool, like
Even
what
the
they
fact
have going on.
even the fact that they continued it sort of without her.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel weird. Like, it makes sense. Like, it's not like they just ignore that she exists and there's like this weird hole that feels weird. Like, it kind of still fit. The storyline still makes perfect sense and it's still great. So they've done it.
Oh,
Yeah. Great job.
anyways, go ahead. It's your turn
Okay.
for
So best feud or angle. I
yes.
did two. I did a men's and a women's because I couldn't figure it out.
So did I
Um,
basically.
so for men, I said Hangman's run up to the title. We've
Uh-huh.
talked about it. But so good.
Yeah.
Every touch of that, what from him, like having to go crazy against Swerve. I know that was last year, but him having to go crazy against
Right.
Swerve and like then rebuild himself slowly over time. Even now they kind of brought Dark Order back into it, which is still like
So awesome.
a great touch because they were, so connected to
Yeah.
him, years and years ago now. It's been great him coming back and being a face, but not just like forgetting everything that happened. There's a lot of times when like someone turns face and they're just
Yeah.
good now. And they're like, oh yeah, I'm just a nice person now. And everyone's just fine with me because I've decided to be good. Like they didn't do that. Right. Like people were still mad at him. Like Swerve was still mad at it. He apologized being like, I went to a weird place and became a weird person. Like it was like human beings involved in the storyline, not
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Absolutely.
characters. It was great. And then the other one was just, it's not really an angle, but like everything Tony Storm has done. Um,
Yeah.
her whole thing all year, moving from the Mariah May feud into where she just wanted to prove herself as champion to her wanting to die and facing Statlander,
Right.
to her and Mina together and the stuff with Blood and Guts. Like it's all been her character arc this year has been excellent.
100%. And
I know it just sounds like it's like a Tony Storm podcast, but she had a great year. So.
she did. And I was going to say my feud of the year is both world titles. I mean, I know we just talked about both of them because they were my matches of the year, but same thing. Those were two of simultaneous stories that I don't think have been done that well for years on television for wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
AEW has problems with the titles, and we've talked about it before, and we'll talk about it again. But their world titles, they always do a great job with. And this year, like both those storylines, like going through the whole year, no matter who was the champion, really, were really good.
I totally agree. Was my turn, huh?
Yeah.
Wait, yeah. Best show. I picked Arena Mexico.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
I had that listed. That was a good one.
I was gonna say like All In's the easy one. So I went with I really hope they keep doing Arena Mexico. The atmosphere was fun. Opening the show and Hangman cutting an entire 5-minute promo in Spanish was incredible.
Yeah.
Just everything about it was awesome. The respect that they gave CMLL and it just the respect that CMLL gave AEW back was amazing, and just
the
vibe was
for
cool.
Like Mexico and Mexican wrestling and Mexicans,
yes.
like it was just like
yeah, and it was just fun. It was feel good, and I really hope they do it again. And I also love, and we talked about it right after it happened. I love that, like again, suspension of disbelief, but like since it took place in their building, like they had to go by CMLL rules, like things like that are fun. Like
it was great.
Yeah. So that's my feud. Sorry, that's my show of the year.
Yeah, that was a great show. That's a great choice. Mine was Revolution. It was
great show.
It was a while ago. It was early in the year, but outside of the main event, which was Mox and Copeland with where Christian cashed in, which was fine, but like it was just fine. If that had been the match that Mox and Copeland had a couple weeks later on Dynamite, where Mox got the bar stuck in his back, if they had done that match instead on the pay-per-view, great. I think it was one of the greatest pay-per-views of all time. Everything else about it was excellent. Every match on that card, that's why they had the Hollywood ending. It was such a good show. And Yeah, outside of that one main event, which was still fine. Like, it wasn't bad.
Oh, absolutely.
But everything else about it, I'm just looking at the card. It had, Osprey versus Kyle Fletcher in a steel cage, Omega versus Takeshita, the Hollywood ending, even Okada versus Brody King, Ricochet against Swerve. Like, it was such
my God.
Hangman Page and MJF was the opening. That was a great match. Yeah, that was a great show. It was my show of the year. I loved it.
Unbelievable. Like, I mean, we always talk about it. AEW pay-per-views, like, even if you're not hyped, they always deliver. But like, when you just read the cards out loud, you're like, what? No. Yeah, what?
It has gotten to the point where, like, it's one of the things it's one of the best, when we're talking about best thing they did, one of the best things they've done is, like, you're right, every pay-per-view is going to be at least very good.
Yeah.
Like, there's never a time when you're like, I think this is going to suck. Like, that's never, ever happened. And I've never watched a show and thought that was bad.
Yeah.
Like, maybe it wasn't their best one. Maybe they've done better or whatever, but like, they're always entertaining. There's always parts of it that you're like, this is great.
And like, you never feel ripped off. Like, you never, like, I didn't follow WWE during the like real bad years, but like, you'd read, like, you'd go on at the time Twitter or whatever and be like, I can't believe I spent $60 on that, or like, I subscribed to the even when they were like free with the network, I subscribed to the network for this. Like, I'd see that all the time.
They're like, the biggest complaint people have about them is they're long, and I understand that. Like, they are long. The last couple I've watched like in 2 days. Like, I'll watch half of it and then I'll watch the other half later because I'm an old man.
Same.
But I remember there was a WrestleMania before the pandemic, like, because in the pandemic in 2020 they started splitting it up into 2 days.
Yeah,
there was one before then, I don't remember which one, and it was like 7 hours long or something, right? And I remember the complaint being like, oh, that show was so long, but also the show wasn't good, right? It was 7 hours long, and half of that was like ads and entrances and recaps, and like, the reason it was 7 hours long is because you threw all that stuff in there. You could have cut it down for 4 hours if you cut all that stuff out.
Right.
AEW has pay-per-views that are, 6 hours long, but it's just match. Like, there's no filler on those shows.
Yeah, and the matches are good, but you get fatigued.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I have a bad back. I broke my back in 18 years ago now. But anyways, I couldn't go to an AEW pay-per-view and not get a handicap seat. And you know what I mean? Like, I just wouldn't be able to function. So it is rough, but like, you definitely get your money's worth. You get what you pay for.
I mean, that's the thing that makes sense. Like, if you're going to pay $50, I'll watch it in 2 days and just like try to avoid the internet for a day and watch it over 2 days, because I'd rather spend $50 for something that's going to be, 5-6 hours of good wrestling versus a show that's, 2 hours long. I don't want to spend $50 for a 2-hour show or 3 matches or whatever. Like, I'm not doing that. So I just want to say my other honorable mention. Spring Breakthrough Dynamite, the one when they passed Nitro, that was a great show.
Oh, that was fun too.
That had Mercedes versus Athena on it, and it had which at the time felt like a big deal. The Death Riders losing the trios titles, which the trios titles never really matter.
True,
but in that moment, that was a big deal. Mox finally losing something, that was a big deal. It was a great show.
Yes, it was.
And of course, All In, but All In is a pretty obvious.
Yeah, that was the obvious one. That's why I didn't choose it. It's your turn.
Okay, so breakout male star.
Yeah,
I feel like this might be a little controversial because people are going to say, but they've been around forever, and that's true. I say Bandito because
nothing wrong with that.
He's been Ring of Honor champion and he's been involved in wrestling for a very long time. I'm not saying he's a rookie or a new wrestler,
right?
But he's new to, North American TV pretty much. Exactly. Like, he hasn't been on like a national broadcast for very long. And he's had a great year. Like, we talked about his stuff with Brodito, but like, every match he's in is very good. Even the stuff he did with Jericho, which was kind of annoying, wasn't him. It was a bad story. Like, it wasn't him. He's had great matches. He's had really, really good matches. And I didn't really know who he was before AEW. Like, I knew he was in Ring of Honor, but I never really saw him do anything. But he's impressive all the time. And like, you care about him. And it kind of shows that like, you don't have to, there's always this meaning of like, oh, you can't speak, perfect English. You can't cut promos in English. Exactly. I don't even know if he speaks English. Maybe he does. I have no clue.
He does.
But just because you can't cut promos doesn't mean you can't be successful, or just because you wear a mask doesn't mean you can't be successful, or just because, there's a lot of things that people have believed over years. You're too small. You don't cut promos. We have to see your face. Like, he's shooting all those things down that, like, no, he just wrestles, and he has a character. Like, it's not like he's just a wrestler. He has a character that people care about, and he does a great job. I think he's had an excellent year.
I agree. And just to add to that, the fact that the wrestlers in AEW are allowed to speak in their native language. And we do live in the era of Google Translate, and so that narrative of, oh, you have to speak English, or you have to speak perfect English. We're going to use that in quotes too. Like, no, we live in a time where, first off, everybody speaks every language. You know what I mean? Like,
right. And just because, like, you have an accent or something doesn't mean no one knows what you're saying. Right.
Yeah. It's like, we get it. So anyways,
even the idea of, like, having a mask, like, there's been very few top stars that have been masked in North America that have, obviously in Mexico, there's a ton of them, but even the idea that, like, oh, if we can't see your face, how are we supposed to care about what you're doing? Well, you just have to try, like, do a good job. Like, you can see expression in what he's doing, even though you can't see it. It's like, he does a great job of it. He's a great wrestler.
I agree.
And he never would have been in this role if there wasn't an AEW. He's a guy who, he was never going to get pushed like this in any other company. So
agreed.
Pretty cool.
My male breakout star is Blake Christian. Just because, first off, he's had a hell of a year, but the way that AEW kind of, they document everybody's, like, rise, because it's all out there on the internet. But the fact that he was working GCW shows, he got big in GCW, then he started working, he was way back, like, working on Dark and stuff, and then Tony bought Ring of Honor, he signed to Ring of Honor, and they still work in GCW. And then now, he's, I always say this, it's not every week, but him and Lee Johnson are, a few times a month, they're on Collision. Like, that's really cool to see that progression through I'm using air quotes again, the system.
Yeah, for sure. And it's important for AEW to have that, so that they can, because we've talked a million times, just because you wrestled on the indies for 100 years doesn't mean you know how to wrestle on TV. And that's not saying the same thing as WWE, where everyone has to wrestle the same way. We're not telling you that, but wrestling on TV is different than wrestling for just a local audience. And the fact that they have a system now in place to help you grow into that is really important.
And again, we always talk about, they're finally at a time where they're starting to have history now. Like, they can go back, like, oh, that guy trained under Dustin, that girl trained under Danielson, like, and you're starting to see them become champions now. Like, like, it has to really make the what's it called, the Nightmare Factory, look really good. And QT is really pulling his weight as a trainer. Like, everybody is trained by QT now. So that was
great choice.
Thank you. Now this goes back to my feud or angle of the year. It's a little controversial. My female wrestler of the year is the entire female roster. I feel that they were given the spotlight this year, and every time they were given the spotlight, everybody stepped up.
For sure.
You could say, like, what you want about they need more time. Yes, they do. I agree with that. But the time that they are given, they made 100% out of every opportunity. So you call it a cop out if you want, but I think the women have done more than the men this year as far as growth.
Oh, definitely. I agree. Mine, I have two. The first one might be a bit of a cop out as well. I think I also picked her last year.
Okay.
But Harley Cameron, just because she's incredible. Like, what has she wrestled? Like, 35 matches or something. Like, she hasn't wrestled a bunch, but she's gone from, like, a bit player on those QT sketches to, like, one of the most entertaining people on the roster. And her and Willow is just such a great team. And the stuff she did with Mercedes and the puppet, like everything she does is just fun, and she's getting better and better every week in the ring. Like I do think I picked her last year too, but she's doing a great job.
She is.
And my other choice is Sky Blue, because everything she's done, like great work for her too. Like the blood and guts stuff is pretty obvious that like that was her, coming out moment where like, oh yeah, she's legit. But she's been growing for a really long time and doing better and better all the time. And she's still super young and she's doing a great job too. So yeah.
And that goes back to, you're starting to hear it now. Danielson is starting to put over I'm going to use air quotes for the 50th time, his students, before shows when he's rolling around in the ring with them.
Yeah.
He has given a lot of the female wrestlers a lot of credit on actual learning, actual wrestling. And it's him, Dustin. Well, his knees are bad now, but QT and all those, like, you're starting to see them acknowledge, like, again, it doesn't happen in WWE, like acknowledge things that happened even before they came to the company, but yeah, like it's fun to see the growth of everybody.
Yeah. And like in Sky Blue, you can tell that she's been wanting to do this for a long time and just didn't get an opportunity to. And now she's like, you can see how much she's enjoying it, how much she's getting out of it, how much she's like wants to do these things, and how much she loves the reactions to everything. Like you can tell she's having a great time, and that's cool.
Yeah. And that goes back to the we were talking about Tony Storm earlier with getting your foot in the door and then turning that into doing whatever you want. Or like, I mean, Julia went from cheerleader to, queen of the damned.
Right.
And, Sky Blue went from bubbly little Sky Blue to, the sister of sin. I mean, it's really cool to see all this, man. Sure. Love it. It's your turn, right?
I think it's my turn. We've kind of already talked about both of them. This is the best thing AEW has done this year.
Yes.
My first one is Hangman's run to the title. We've already talked about it.
Amazing.
That was great. Everything about it. And then my second one was kind of a cop out, just like yours. Was just everything, pushing the women more, everything the women have done, the whole thing they've done all year. I had that same thing. Now go further. Like, I want them to do more. Not in terms of like they need to put in more effort. I don't think that's the case. I think they're all putting in as much effort as they can.
Agreed.
I think they need to, next year don't have a men's blood and guts, have just a women's, or next year have a women's C2, or next year have a, they need to main event a pay-per-view. Like put Mercedes or Tony, because they're the biggest stars. Put one of them in the main event of a pay-per-view.
Agreed.
Like, they're all, and not just Mercedes and Tony, but like they're the biggest names.
Yeah.
They as a whole deserve so much more, but also they've taken everything that AEW gave them, and I'm sure the network didn't love the idea of, hey, we're going to put a bunch of women in a cage and they're all just going to like smash each other in the face and bleed. I'm sure someone in the network was like, yeah, I don't think we should do that. And the fact that they did it anyway.
Yeah.
I feel like that's probably why they also had a men's match, and why the men's match ended the show. Was I'm sure someone at the network was probably like, people aren't going to want to watch that. And Tony Khan's like, no, they will. People will. And they did.
Yeah. Yes, they did.
So it's been great. Just having feuds throughout the women's division, like not just for the titles, it's everything with Willow and stuff with, Stat before she won the belt, and, the Sisters of Sin and Jamie Hayter and Tekla. And like, they've all done such a good job, and they're finally positioning them as they should be.
Agreed.
And it's been great.
And even the storylines, like, again, not that the storylines were throwaway, but the storylines are starting to get, excuse me, they're starting to get like the men's storylines where you could say, oh, you could plug in Jamie Hayter here, you could plug in Julia here. Like, people are starting to make sense in every situation now.
Yeah.
And
they have a history now. They've all been around long enough that like, oh yeah, I remember Jamie Hayter had a problem with her 2 years ago. Right. I remember this. Yeah. Like it fits it fits better now. Yeah. It's been great. And
well, that my best thing AEW does was women's wrestling. So I mean, we already so the worst thing, it's an ongoing problem, and I actually have a reason behind it. I'm gonna say the worst thing AEW did is we're going to say Danhausen in the Danhausen situation.
I agree with that.
Because Danhausen created all of this, like the character and the YouTube and all that, and not letting him use it, you're hurting him more than you're helping him by paying him to stand at home. Any day he can't make content. Like, I was just looking at some of his stuff the other day. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would kill for like 3,000 views of our videos.
Right.
But he's down to 3,000 views.
Right.
Like, you know, cut the guy loose. Yes, even if he jumps right to WWE, I don't think he would. I don't think he would, because he sees the value in owning all that.
But even if he did at this point, like,
even if he did at this point, who cares? But what you're doing to the poor man, like,
I do feel like Tony Khan isn't as bad at it as Vince was or WWE was, but like, there are times when, like, just let someone go, just like let them, if they're not happy. Like, and again, I understand you can't, like, anytime someone complains, immediately let them leave. I get that. Like, I understand that. But you're not going to use him. It's pretty established that he's not going to be on TV. And whether that's because he doesn't want to do what you want him to do, or you don't want to use him, like, I don't know the reasons, but whatever the reasons are, like, you're not going to use him. Fine, let him sit home for 6 months so that he doesn't walk off Dynamite and show up on SmackDown the same week. Fine, I get that. But yeah, let him go.
And like I said, like, yes, he was an indie wrestler, but Danhausen is a brand, and the less time he gets to use it, the more it's hurting him in the long run.
Right.
And that's what bugs me about it. Like, it's Danhausen wasn't Will Ospreay. Like, he's not going to hurt you in any way other than the AEW t-shirt sales will take a little bit of a hit on pro wrestling tees.
Yeah.
Like, let him go. That's his.
This isn't even like, I could see being, you know, not wanting to release, you know, CM Punk, even though he was a backstage headache, because you're like, oh, he's a big star, he's main eventing our shows, or even like, you know, Miro or Malachi, because you're just like, oh, those are big names, but like, Danhausen is a big name, but he's never going to main event your show or a WWE show
or like WrestleMania,
Like, he's not. I'm so like, but that's fine. But yeah, you don't need to keep him around. I get it.
Yeah, like I said, I think it's not the only thing they do wrong, but in his situation, it needed to go, because, like I said, he's more of a brand than even I don't want to say he's an athlete, because he's in better shape than me. But I don't want to say he's not an athlete, excuse me. But he's more of a brand at this point than a wrestler.
Yeah, I agree. That's a good one.
And yours?
I have a few.
Perfect.
I have things to complain about. I mean, a lot of them are small complaints. Like, AEW has had a great year. This was one of the best years AEW's had in recent, maybe like 2022 or 2021. Like, in recent, this has been a return to form for AEW. They did have a couple rough years, you know, not just the Punk stuff, but like recovering from the Punk stuff, recovering from stuff like Miro and Malachi not wanting to be there. Like, they had some tough times. They had a lot of injuries, whatever, but like, this year's been great. So like, my complaints are not, you know, earth-shattering complaints. First off the bat, we've said it a couple years ago, Ric Flair, don't have Ric Flair on your shows. Like, I know he didn't end up being on TV, but like, just don't. I get the want, right? Like, he's a big name, he's tied to the history of wrestling. I get it, but just don't, like, stop having Ric Flair on things.
There's other people that are also tied to wrestling history that are better PR than Ric Flair.
Right. Yeah. There's no need at this point.
Yeah.
This is a small nitpick. Hangman stuff post winning the belts, it was okay, but it wasn't great. I understand that there were injuries. You know, Swerve and Ospreay both being injured at the same time is a problem. I get that, but like, it wasn't great, and it kind of feel bad for Hangman, because like, twice now he's had a really great story.
I know.
Winning the title, and then following winning the title, it's been like, it's been fine. Like, it's been okay, but it hasn't been what you and then he loses it pretty soon, right? Yeah. So it's happened twice now. He's a great wrestler, so obviously this isn't gonna, like, this, he's not buried forever. Like, he'll be fine. He'll turn it into an angle because he's good at that. Like, it's gonna be fine, but it's slightly disappointing. My two real ones, bigger ones, were two things. One was just the year that MJF had. I know that he was gone for a while. He was filming things, so that makes sense. But like he had that feud at the beginning of the year with Jeff Jarrett that just was bad and then just disappeared.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I forgot about it till recently. Very weird. Like I get why they started it. It was terrible from the beginning.
Yeah.
And it went nowhere. And it was kind of it was bad enough that they just took Jeff Jarrett off TV. Like it was like,
and he hasn't been seen since.
Yeah, the whole thing was weird. Then they did him with the Hurt Syndicate, which some of the segments were good, some of them were sketchy and awkward, which we talked about.
Yeah.
And then that suddenly just ended. They're just like, "Oh, you're not in the Hurt Syndicate anymore." He's like, "All right." They just like moved on. Like that was weird. Then they did the weird feud with Hangman, where I kind of liked it because it seemed like Hangman was being smart. He was tricking MJF into using his contract. Like, and then suddenly they're like, now he's not doing that. Like, what? And then the contract that was supposed to be cashed in whenever you wanted, then they changed the rules on the contract. Like, there's just been so many things where like it's just been so inconsistent. He starts something, and then for whatever reason, the next week they're like, we're not doing that, and it's just something else. I don't know if it's him or Tony or the people he's worked. I don't know why that happened. I don't know if he suddenly had to go back and shoot movies again, and that they had to cut something short. Like, I don't know why any of these things happened, but it was very weird.
It was. And that's what I was just going to say. Now with him being like, he was just starting his acting career then. Like, obviously he has an agent and everything, but he's also young and maybe had a little too much on his plate, thinking that, oh yeah, I'll jump on a plane from LA back to New York and then wrestle for an hour and then go back.
He did do that. Didn't he wrestle in Mexico and then wrestle in Canada the next day?
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I could see him like starting it and then being like, hey dude, Tony, like we need to, like, I'm not saying that he's lazy, like, hey, like this is I can barely learn lines, let alone
or they shot the movie and then like, oh, we need you to come back and shoot another scene that we didn't get last time or something, and reshoot something. And I that any of that could have been the reason, and I know that he's gonna be fine. But he's not only a big star, but a big name. Like, people in wrestling know who he is. Now people outside of wrestling at least have an idea of who he is. He's, you've said this before, like he's a great wrestler, but he never wrestles. And I know that's his gimmick, but like at some point you have to wrestle, right? Like,
Oh, totally.
Especially if AEW's thing is we're the best wrestler, right? You can't have a guy who's like just never wrestles. He's a good promo. He's a young guy. He's a future star. He's a star. They have to use him properly. And if he's only going to be around for 3 months and then gone for a while, that's fine. But those 3 months should be awesome. And then, then have a reason for why he's not there anymore, right? Like, this weird stop-start thing is weird.
Yeah, have it like uberly planned out. Like, like, oh, okay, we got him, just say June to September. Have like a backup for a backup for a backup if people are injured, even. You know what I mean? To like, to be like, hey, this is going to happen come hell or high water. Yeah. I agree with you. They need to do that with him. That would be sick. And then, you could do so much with that. Like,
I know.
Oh yeah, I agree. That's what they need to do with him. Like, man, that's awesome.
Like decide. Oh, he's shooting a movie in April. Right. So we have him from January to April, and this is what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
And then
it ends right there. And then when he comes back, we start anew. No going back and forth. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then my other thing is, I've talked about it before, and people got mad at me on the internet for it.
No!
But I'm going to do it again. The title situation for the men is messy, weird, and I don't like it. The perfect example of it was this week's Dynamite. I noticed this as I was watching. The show started. Joe comes out with 2 belts. He has the world title and the trios title. Right? Okay, fine. This guy's the top of the food chain. He has 2 belts.
Right.
Fine. Then Okada comes out. He has 3 belts. There's the belt for the tournament.
Right.
Then there's the other belt that he has. Then there's the belt that he has only if he has the other 2 belts
that he chooses to carry. Like, that's the option. Right.
Right. Then they go, oh, he could lose the tournament. He could lose the 1 belt and keep the other belt, and the 3rd belt, we don't know what happens to it. And like, maybe it goes away. I don't know. Right. Like, and
that's
then
incredible.
then after that match, they cut backstage to Mark Briscoe, who has another belt, the TNT belt, and he's talking about it. And then they come back from commercial to Ricochet, who has another belt with the national title. So the first 4 segments of the show is the 7 AEW men's belts. These are other companies. This isn't like a CML title or a ROH title or a New Japan. These are just their AEW men's belts. And then they got to the point where Don Callis had to explain it in an interview backstage. He had to be like, he has the Continental title and the International title. So we've decided to call it the unified. Like they had to, when you have to have a segment explaining the belts, it's bad. Like this is, three things. Okay. They never should have made this, in my opinion, they shouldn't have made the C2 for a belt that you could defend.
Yeah, it should have been like the Owen.
Like the Owen, like you win a belt and a trophy, and that's what you win. It shouldn't have been a belt because why do you have to wrestle, 8 matches over the course of 2 months to win the title, and then the next week you could just challenge Okada and win the title? Like, to
get your first round bye next year or whatever it is. Like, I never thought.
Right, like that's weird. And then they had Okada versus Omega, and I know they wanted to make it feel important, so they're like, oh, this is for the unified title, but then either unify the belts or don't unify the belts, right? You can't have this like, oh, he has both belts and a third belt, but the third belt only exists if you have the first 2 belts. Like legitimately, what happens if Okada doesn't win the C2? Say like, Takeshita wins it. Is the unified title gone?
Yes, because it's the real Triple Crown. It's like horse racing that no horse has won the Triple Crown in like 20 years.
So, but then say Okada is the international champion. Say Correct. He then beats Ricochet, who's the national champion.
Correct.
Can he be the unified champion again, or does that not count? Is it only the Continental title and the international title?
I thought it was only the Continental and International, but you bring up a damn good point. No, I don't know.
Or what if Takeshita wins the Continental and then beats, Samoa Joe and wins the world title? Can he be unified champion, or is he still like, you know what I mean? Like,
See, this is why AEW doesn't give us press passes, because we'd ask questions like this and Tony's head would explode. Like, be like, oh God, a bigger nerd than me.
They've done this a lot where they like announce something and then they haven't actually explained it. And I think it's because they haven't thought it through. Like, it's like
also true.
Like the WWE had this problem where they had the Universal title and the WWE title, and they were 2 belts. And Brock Lesnar had one and Roman Reigns had the other. And Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns had fought each other a million times, and they wanted to make the match more meaningful. So they were like, oh, the winner of that match gets the new belt, which is called the Undisputed belt. Okay. And then they did that. But then for some reason, for a while, they would carry 2. And then they realized, oh, wait, we don't want to only have one champion. We need to have a champion for the other show. So let's make a world title. So then for like a brief period, there was like 3 or 4. And then Cody won, and they just ignored the other ones and then decided that the Universal title existed, but didn't like it was a whole thing. This feels like where AEW is going, is what I'm trying to say. Like, it feels like now they have a national title, an international title, a continental title, and the world title. Like, why? And a TNT title. Like, you don't need that many. First of all, you don't need that many belts.
Yeah, I agree.
But if you're going to have that many belts, you have to have it make some sort of sense, right? Like, why would you? Even Renee mentioned at the backstage interview, she's like, "Oh, Okada, why didn't you put your international title up in the Continental tournament? Could he? Is that an option? I didn't even know that was a thing that you could do." Right? Like,
yeah, it's insane. Like, the only way to remedy it, for it to make sense, is you would have to do like what MMA or boxing does, and then have weight classes, and then have like every weight class have its own champion for it to make sense.
You're right.
But then you're talking about real sports, and like, you're not going to make a guy cut weight just so he could be a pretend champion. Like,
or like, you're not going to have like, say, I don't know, Bandito. He's pretty light. I'm assuming he's probably considered like a middleweight, a cruiserweight.
Yeah.
If he gets super over and you want to have him challenge him, and he not because he doesn't weigh the right, like, you know what I mean?
Like, 30 pounds.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think they have to somehow get it so the Continental title isn't a title that you defend anymore. It has to be like your prize for winning the tournament, like the Owen.
I agree.
Just make it that. And then you have stuck with the international title and a national title, which is odd, especially because the national title is the one that's going to go to other countries and the international title is the one that's going to stay. Like, that's confusing too, but like, fine. I don't know. And then there's trios belts, which don't really mean anything. Like, they just don't.
It's like, I thought I'd be all about it, but it's definitely an American, like, no, excuse me. It's definitely an international thing. Like, in the United States or North America, we really don't care about it that much.
I thought it was going to be a big deal, and it has
Same
not
here.
been at all.
And because I just don't care. Like, maybe if how we talked about it, like, if they would make trios more like okay, you have a tag team, like you have the Outrunners, like, okay, we know they're a tag team, we know what they're capable of, not like, oh, here's 3 random people that are now challenging for the trios titles. Like, if
whenever they do something like oh, if Dark Order wins this match, they get a shot at the trios titles, or they did that before, like when Hangman and them challenged Samoa Joe, they get a shot at the trios titles. I'm like, really? Who cares? Like, I don't care. Like,
yeah, trios titles need to go, or be the, like, give them to a trio in CMLL, and then have, I think that's your title down there. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's an AEW title on a whole other company, like,
I think that's the solution for that. They become the titles that, like, maybe you see at like All In or like twice a year. They're at an AEW show, but the rest of the time they're in Japan or in Mexico or something.
That would make sense. It's free advertisement for them to say AEW Trios Champions. That's all. They need that would make more sense.
And like, I'm even okay with people wearing titles from other companies. Like this Claudio has a CMLL title, or like the ROH champions coming to AEW. Like, that at least makes sense. Oh, why does this guy have a belt? Oh, he won it in Mexico. Yes. Okay, sure. That's easy to explain why he has a belt, but it's in Mexico. Sure. Okay. Makes perfect sense.
Right.
But like, why does Okada have 3 belts at this point? Like, it's weird.
It is.
Even if they would have explained it as, like, say Okada beat Omega and then he was just being a cocky jerk and made a third title himself. Sure. But that's not a real belt then. That's just like a vanity Okada belt, which would have been fine. But
and
like,
hilarious.
That would have been great. Like, that would have been hilarious. Do that.
The Okada belt would be awesome.
It seemed like they realized we had too many belts, so let's merge 2 of them together, the Continental title and the International title, make them 1 belt. Then got to around C2 time and was like, oh, what are we going to do? We need to have the C2 have the Continental title, so let's break that one away. Oh, but we also need a belt that's going to go other places. So let's make it other, like, they merged them and then was like, you know what? Let's unmerge them and add in another one. Like, now we have more belts than we had at this point last year.
You're correct.
And we had too many belts last year. Like,
that's when you say that, like, when you actually put it in perspective, there's so many. It's like absurd.
And people got really mad at the Blue Sky count is me, by the way. If you're yelling at someone on the Blue Sky, it's me. People got really mad at that because, like, oh, it's not everybody gets a title. And like, that's hyperbole to say everybody gets a title. I didn't mean everybody. I meant a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it is, if they had sound reasoning for it, fine. But they don't. They don't have any sound reasoning. They don't have any basis of. They do. It does seem like they're making this up as they go along.
I agree.
Like, they unified the belts because they thought they had too many belts, and then decided, oh wait, but we want a belt to travel around. Oh wait, we need a belt for the C2, and then just like, this does not seem like it's planned.
Planned or like thought through. Like, they just keep going with it,
right?
And just adding to it is like, I see what you're saying. Like,
I think honestly, the solution is, whoever wins the C2 this year, just say, I'm not defending it until next year's C2.
I'm glad you said that. I had a solution to that. I'm sorry. I've been meaning to message you this, but I was like, no, I'll save it for the podcast. It'd be awesome if you win the C2. Okay. And you can defend the title throughout the year. But if you're champion when the C2 starts, you get a 3-point bonus.
Yeah. Or something.
Yeah. So then, like, you could also lose all your matches in the C2 and only get 3 points. It doesn't guarantee you the win, but you hold all tiebreakers.
Yeah, that would be something.
And then it gives people reason to want that title throughout the year.
Right.
You know, like, oh, I want the 3 bonus points. I want the 3 points. Like,
you're right, because realistically right now, like Okada had the C2 title, the Continental title all year, but the C2 started in November.
Right.
Right. So why would you challenge Okada in October? Like, yeah, it gets you a spot in the tournament if you're the reigning champion. But then you have to put it up in the you just win this belt and then immediately have to put it up in this tournament and you could just lose it again. Right. Like, why not just wait till after the tournament then to challenge Okada? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, then at least you get a whole year with the like, or not year, but yeah. Yeah, they should make it. You get if you go in as the champion, you get a 3-point buffer since there's no rounds or whatever.
Yeah.
So you don't have to skip anybody, but it also gives the people throughout the year an incentive to take that.
Right.
And like you said, like it would be like you can start to get, we're going to use real sports here and start to get like strategical and be like, oh, the C2 starts in 2 weeks. I'm going to challenge for the belt tomorrow on tomorrow's Dynamite. You know?
That would make sense. I'd just do something because there's no different, or like before when the TNT title was like, oh, it's the television title. So like it's on every show. You always have to defend it on every Dynamite or something, or even though Dynamite's not on TNT anymore, is it? Or is it?
Well, I don't know. I watch on Max, so I don't know what channel anything's on.
But whatever show is on TNT, I think it might be Dynamite. Whatever. Whenever you have the TNT title, it should be required that you have to defend it at least, twice a month on TNT or something, right?
Yeah.
Like make that the rule. And that's why that belt is different, because you have to defend it way more often than any other belt, or make it like an open challenge belt or something. Like that's what make these titles something. If you're going to have this many, there needs to be some differentiation between any of them, because right now, like I guess the international title is right below the world title in terms of rankings. But like, is it better to win the continental title or the national title or the TNT? Like, which one of those is better?
Yeah.
Which one, if you had the option, which would you rather win? I don't know at this point. Like,
yeah, I'm with you. Like it's very convoluted.
And on the other side, the women's titles are fine. Like makes sense. There's a world title, there's a TBS title, tag titles. Perfect sense. That's great. Right? Like,
yeah.
I think the right mix is a main event world title, another title. And then if you want to have a TV title and tag belts, and that should be it. That should be all you have.
I agree.
Unless you have like a weird gimmick one, like a hardcore title or something. But like, even then, that's too much.
Yeah, I'm not even going to get into that, but I agree.
Yeah, and I know everyone always talks about casual fans and whatever, and how that probably aren't casual fans. Like, I agree with that. There probably aren't too many people who've never seen wrestling before and decide to watch wrestling. I get that. But say I've seen this online, WWE fans who are like, I don't watch AEW. Tell me what the belts are like. WWE has the WWE title, the Intercontinental title, and the tag belts. What does that in AEW? And you can't really say, right? Like, you don't know, really.
True.
So if you're a new person watching that, like if you had never seen Dynamite before and watched it now, and you're like, why does Okada have three belts? And one of them's in a tournament, but the other ones aren't, and one of them only exists if you have the two. Like it's very confusing. And we watch it all the time.
Yes.
Right? Like we watch every show. And it's confusing.
Right? I was just gonna say, imagine getting all that explained to a WWE fan, and they're like, oh, okay. And then Claudio comes out and you're like, oh wait, that belt that belongs to another company. It's not even American, it's a Mexican company.
Yeah, and he's not defending it. It's part of the tournament.
Yeah, he can only defend that for another company. That's nothing to do with us. Their head would just fall off and roll across the room.
But again, at least that makes sense, right? It's easy to explain. Oh, that's the CML. He only defends that in CML matches. Sure. But like the rest of them aren't easy. It's confusing and it makes it weird. I get the point that like there's a lot of wrestlers in AEW. There's a lot of men's wrestlers. So you want them to have things to fight for. I get that. Like I understand that. But why does winning the trios titles matter at this point? Right? Like it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Mark Briscoe winning a belt, the TNT belt mattered, but not because it was the TNT belt. It's because he was just winning a singles belt in AEW was important, right?
Yeah.
Like it could have been any belt. It didn't necessarily have to be the TNT belt that made it cool. It was just the fact that he won a belt in AEW. So I don't think you need them all, especially because now they've decided that you could just split up the internet. I thought they would unified, like that was it, but it's not. So,
well, I don't know. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I know that went on long, but that's my main one that I wanted to complain about.
You're allowed
Again, nitpicky complaint. Like the shows are great. For anyone who's been like, well, you don't like wrestling. I do like wrestling. I like AEW a lot. That's why I care, right? If I didn't, I just wouldn't watch the shows.
Exactly.
So, like, I obviously do like them. This was a great year. AEW, I think, had a great year. Probably their best year since like 2022, maybe, in my opinion.
I'd agree to that. Yeah. I mean, it was hot all year.
2023 was kind of a mess. 2024, they were like climbing out of the mess. But this year, like, was a solid year from the beginning. Like, Revolution was my favorite show, and it was early in the year, and they've been consistent all through the year. Like, it definitely feels like they're on the right track for sure.
Totally agree. Well, we are at Elite City Pod on all social media. On YouTube, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe. Leave comments. You've been commenting a lot. We'll reach out and we'll reach out back. Answer, I guess that would have been a better word to say. And so until next week.
And next week is our predictions.
Yes, next week we will be doing the prediction show. So those are always fun too. So stay tuned and we'll see you next week. I predict
they add like 4 more belts.
27 more belts.
Yeah.
All right. Till next week. We'll see you then. Later.